Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Richard Hatch reveals how Teresa Giudice improved his life. Survivor alum Richard Hatch shared an unlikely benefit of competing against Real Housewives star Teresa Giudice. He revealed that she helped improve his *X life. Keep reading to find out how. Network's House of Villains reality show collects the worst of bad reality stars, puts them in a house, and turns the camera on. Season 1 was a huge success. Season 2 premiered earlier this month with a star-studded cast, including Bachelor Queen Victoria Lawson, 90 Day Fiancé alum Larissa Lima, and reality show vet Tiffany Pollard. But what fans didn't expect was the friendship between Survivor alum Richard Hatch and Real Housewives star Teresa Giudice. Unfortunately, Richard Hatch's time on the show was short-lived. He was the show's second elimination after Larissa Lima. Often considered the greatest Survivor competitor, he was in disbelief during his interview with Page 6 following his exit. He blasted his House of Villains co-stars for being too emotional instead of focusing on gameplay. I was surprised. Yeah, the journey was, for me, intended to be all the way to the end. In this case, my fault, totally. Many of them were not even playing a game. It was all about emotion, and I just wasn't prepared for that at all. However, Richard Hatch didn't leave the show empty-handed, so to speak. He told Page 6 that one famous interaction with Teresa Giudice has improved his *X life for the first time since his divorce nearly a decade ago. The Bravo celebrity candidly asked him if he was a top or a bottom. He wasn't shy about answering that he's a bottom. However, he revealed that he doesn't tell his dates that. Teresa Giudice suggested that he be honest about his preference. According to Richard Hatch, the advice has improved his *X life for the better. I've been single now since my divorce, almost 8 years. I have interacted now, since this aired, with some of the most interesting men from all over the world. I'm going to be in a partnership at some point, I'm betting. Based on Teresa asking me if I'm a top or a bottom. House of Villains changed my life, I'll bet you. In an unexpected and eyebrow-raising confession, Survivor legend Richard Hatch recently shared details about how none other than Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Giudice influenced his romantic life, leading to what he describes as a complete overhaul in the bedroom. The revelation, which caught fans of both reality stars off guard, hinted that Teresa's openness, confidence, and certain lifestyle habits played a surprising role in rejuvenating Hatch's approach to romance and intimacy. When Richard sat down for an interview recently, he was candid about how his life had taken a unique turn. I'm not sure anyone would think that Teresa and I have much in common, he started, laughing. But you'd be surprised. She's known for her fiery, tell-it-like-it-is personality. And I think that quality of hers really got me thinking about some things in my own life. The two met years ago, briefly, at a charity event, where Teresa had given a no-holds-barred speech about her struggles, her successes, and what she called the magic of not holding back. Something about her speech struck a chord with Richard, and he found himself reaching out to Teresa for advice in the following months. She had this way of talking about life, no shame, no pretense, that really resonated with me, he said. I realized that I could afford to bring a little more of that boldness into my own life. During their conversations, Teresa shared a few tips with Richard. Her first piece of advice was about self-confidence and the value of being unapologetic about who you are. When I told her I'd been feeling like I was in a rut, she told me that the first step is to look at yourself in the mirror and know what you're worth, Richard shared. It sounds so simple, but I realized that I had let some of my confidence slip over the years. Her words reminded me to focus on embracing myself. That small shift in self-perception laid the groundwork for what Richard describes as a surprising reawakening. And the impact of that self-assurance quickly rippled out into other parts of his life. It wasn't like I walked away from our talk with a new hairstyle or anything, he said with a chuckle. But I felt this new energy that I hadn't had in years. I think my partner noticed it right away. Embracing confidence was just the beginning. Teresa's second piece of advice involved fostering intimacy through little acts of spontaneity and romance. She's a big believer in doing the unexpected, Richard revealed. She said that sometimes, just by breaking out of routine, you can rediscover things about each other you might have overlooked. Richard began implementing small changes to surprise his partner, whether it was a candlelit dinner on a weeknight or an unexpected note tucked into a bag. The third piece of advice took Richard by surprise. Teresa suggested incorporating certain wellness habits into his lifestyle, including a focus on personal health and fitness. She told me she's been really into yoga and meditation lately, and how it's made her more aware of her body and energy. Richard explained. She said it's helped her feel more connected to herself, and in turn, it's strengthened her connection with her husband. Intrigued, Richard decided to try out yoga and found that it did indeed enhance his mental and physical connection. It was about more than just the stretching, he discovered. The process helped him become more mindful in his relationship, too. I had always thought of yoga as a fad or something that just wasn't for me. But Teresa had this enthusiasm that was infectious, he admitted. Starting small, with 10-minute sessions, I could already feel a shift in my energy levels and a new focus that I hadn't anticipated. Richard also incorporated meditation practices into his routine, which had the added benefit of alleviating some of the stresses that can build up in a long-term relationship. In a way, it's like starting fresh every day, he explained. I come to my partner without the weight of yesterday's stresses or worries, and that's something Teresa really stressed. To be present in the moment, to focus on how we're feeling today. Right now, it's been transformative. Teresa's last tip was about celebrating and embracing imperfections. She told me to embrace all the messy parts of life, he said with a smile. Her words reminded me that you don't have to have a perfectly polished life to be happy. This advice encouraged Richard to let go of unrealistic expectations and instead appreciate his partner and himself, imperfections and all. In the end, the combination of Teresa's advice resulted in a complete shift in Richard's approach to romance, intimacy, and his own sense of self. He didn't reinvent himself overnight, but the subtle shifts, encouraged by Teresa's insights, created a fresh and exciting dynamic. I feel lighter, happier, and more connected to myself and my partner, he said. Who would have thought Teresa Giudice would be the one to open my eyes to all this? While they may not have been the most obvious due, Richard and Teresa's unexpected connection serves as a testament to the unpredictable nature of life's journeys. A charity event meeting, a few conversations, and a handful of practical, down-to-earth advice turned out to be the spark Richard needed.